Hello everyone. For this week's lecture, we're going to cover two topics. We're going to start off with the introduction to managerial finance, which is topic 6, and then we will cover topic 5, which is topic 6. We're going to discuss the some introductory or background, okay, financial management, and we're going to look at several the role of financial manager as well as the financial functions of financial markets. Okay. And if you look at the module, right, it provides some basic definition and introduction to what is financial management. Right? And in various books, okay, you will see the term financial management is interchangeable with corporate finance or even managerial finance, which is the title of the topic for this course in the syllabus. Now over here it gives a general overview or definition of financial modeling and monitoring. Okay? Being used, of course, in the financial resources, financing activities. Right? But another way of looking at corporate finance or managerial finance is to divide it into 3 main areas for decision making. First being the capital budgeting decisions. This is involving decisions on which particular capital aspect to be to expand a factory, buy a machinery, buy a property, etc. So those are contained inside what we call capital budgeting decisions. Secondly would be after you have decided on which particular capital investments to purchase, you would then make a decision on the financing side. Okay. To capital budgeting decisions. So the second one would be capital structure. Why capital structure? Because the sources of financing that you opt for or you decide for the firm will affect capital structure. 20% comes from equity. Okay? So that is the second one, capital structure, and the third one would be working capital management decisions. So after you have purchased a certain capital assets, such as machinery or factory, you need people to man the machines. You need inventories, raw materials to manage your goods. So those are working capital management. So the 3 main areas: capital budgeting, capital structure, and working capital management is a new way of looking at the financial management or managerial finance framework. Okay. Now let's look at the financial environment, how the financial management or in the firm is related to the overall financial environment. So over here, this is one depiction of the relationship. Okay. There are various other types of charts that you can see, but basically it explains something. Okay? But mainly they just want to show the relationships between the providers and the use of funds. So the business is the as the providers of the um, funds, right? So the direct transfer is directly from the business to the eventual investors, owners, or participants of the businesses. And if you want to have a middle party, okay, they divide it into investment bank and financial intermediary. Okay? Where in fact, investment bank is basically a type of financial intermediary. But over here, they divide it even further to differentiate between bank playing the role on certain cases where securities are issued for the first time, okay, or through non through issues that are not related with the secondary market. So that's why they divide it into investment bank and financial intermediary. Now, in another chart, in other textbooks, you will also see the when business get the funds, okay, generate cash from the business. So the cash dividends, okay, the dividends will go back to the shareholders. Yes, cash to the shareholders. Okay, so this is a type of relationships that you can see that show we can categorize them into long-term funds, okay, external short-term and internal short-term funds. So these are some of the examples. A few of them we will explore further later. Okay. And within an organization, normally it's okay. So either a company lumps together all the accounting and finance related functions under the CFO, or they further divide it into accounting based and also financing, finance or corporate finance functions. Those two are essentially different, right? But this is a typical structure that you would see in a corporation. Okay, next we go to the forms, the basic types of forms of business organization, starting with a simple sole proprietorship, okay, followed by partnership, and then the corporation. You see this in more detail in other courses, I believe, particularly in the management course, right? But from finance perspective, we are interested in the corporation form, okay? As it is a separate entity, okay, that are distinct and separate from its owners as well as the managers, right? So when a corporation is sued, for example, it is the corporate entity that is being sued, goes to court. Okay? Although the management will, on behalf of the corporation, goes to the court, but technically it is the corporation itself, the separate legal entity that is being So personally or individually, management is not affected per se. Okay? These are among the comparisons which are very straightforward. You have seen this before. The difference between corporation and partnership. So voting rights, taxation, liability. Corporation has a limited liability, as explained, right? Okay. Now, goal. What is the main objective or main goal of a corporation? Okay. Now, when we define a corporation as a big organization, okay, that has the essential structure, shareholders, top management, and we have debt holders for that matter, or bond holders, and more than not, listed, listed in the stock exchange. So when we define a corporation to have those elements and definition, then the main objective would be to maximize shareholders' wealth. Right? Why shareholders? Because they are the owners. They are the rightful owners, and rather than maximizing profit, maximizing shareholders' wealth is superior. It's deemed as to be more important here. And the benchmark or yardstick that is used to measure the wealth is through the stock price. Okay? And later in class, we will discuss a little bit on this, on why maximizing profits, okay, is not the main or the ultimate goal objective of maximizing wealth price. Okay, so we will discuss further. The module explains the financial market. It provides the markets that exist in the financial market, starting from the physical financial assets market, stocks market, futures markets, etc. Okay? Explore each and every one of these on your own. Okay? Now, in corporate finance, okay, we expand further on this primary and secondary market. Primary market is where companies raise new capital. Okay? So securities are for the first time. So for stock is through the IPO, initial public offering, right? And for bonds, most bonds are issued in the primary market. Now, once they are issued for the first time, so after that, whatever transactions that occur between the buyer and seller occur in the secondary market. So we have the stock exchange, we have the bond exchange market, etc., as the examples of the secondary market. Right. The role of financial manager, the ones listed here in the modules are some of the most important roles, but additional roles, okay, depending, as I said, on the scope type of business. So first and foremost is a capital requirement. Okay? So you need to look at how much assets, in particular fixed assets, okay, and what types of fixed assets to purchase or to own, and how to do finance. This is answered in the capital structure. See, issuing securities such as share or bonds. You take a conventional, issue conventional or sukuk, which is historic bonds, or do you do leasing instead of purchasing, right? Then investment is related to capital structure, because investment in capital as are essentially capital structure, which supports the capital budgeting. But a company can also invest financial assets, for example, and also short-term current assets. And then the surplus, okay, whatever surplus that the company record After generating the net profit, how do you distribute them to the shareholders, plow it back into the company um, in retained earnings for future expansion and investment. Okay? And of late, the finance section or unit is also actively involved or responsible with the risk management of the company, particularly the financial risk management aspect. Now, in terms of the separation topic, but from the corporate finance or managerial finance perspective, due to the natural separation conflict or, or them having non-aligned or misalignment in terms of their priorities and objective. Okay, so the owners may have a different priority and objective in the management. So as a result of the problem, okay, the company will incur what we call agency cost. And examples of agency cost would be in terms of reporting, auditing, in terms of remuneration in terms of controlling the management, providing sufficient rewards and management in order to mitigate the agency conflict that may arise due to the agency problem. So in short, those are the gist of this topic, and we will continue on with topic 5, which is the sources of financing. Okay, for this topic, we will look at the sources of finance, okay? And we will look at some of the types of financing, and we're going to focus on debt and equity financing, looking at the advantages and disadvantages of each, and we're going to look at some of the latest contemporary debt and equity financing options that are available in the market. Of course, as we have discussed earlier, right, when company make huge profit and after paying the dividends, they will retain. These retained earnings are the internal financing company. So more times than not, and in fact, certain finance theories such as the packing order theory, companies should give priority to its internal financing. So internal financing first before going to external financing. Okay. But however, this would sustain a certain level of reserves, internal financing, maybe for some future needs, such as future investment. So for the immediate needs, they may resort to external financing. And that happens, the priority be to go for debt financing first, then only we will discuss why it is so later. Okay, but now let's just look at some of the types of debt financing. Regular ones would be loans from financial institutions, banks or commercial banks, and there are various types of loans. Some secured, collateral, some not, etc. And normally, there are certain requirements set by the lenders, okay? And only if you have met the structure, although it comes with certain benefits, such as reducing the tax, because interest is tax deductible, it will expose you to the possibility of financial distress, particularly if you match the interest commitment with your forecast flow. So if forecasted cash flow, the growth set for your data is not matched, it does not match, meaning it's not sufficient to cover the uh, interest commitment, then it exposes the company to financial distress. So companies want to be cautious in making borrowing or having more debt in their company. So that type of debt is bonds, okay, where eligible companies, the companies that can issue bonds, would issue bonds, and for bonds, it is much like the bonds regularly. So either every 6 months or every 12 months at a stipulated rate called the coupon rate. Okay? And bond has maturity. So let's say it matures in 10 years. So during those 10 years, the bondholders will receive the recurring interest in the form of coupon payment, and at maturity, the company that issues the bond need to pay back the principal part of the bond. And various types of bonds, okay? We have corporate bonds, we have government bonds, okay? And we have a short-term, medium-term, okay? Convertible bond for that matter. Okay? But the essential, they have what we call an indenture. Okay? The indenture here, okay, which is sort of an, okay? And all the terms and conditions are spelled out in the indenture. Okay? And in the form of covenant. Okay? So this is to protect the holders, okay, from certain actions by the company that can affect their ability to repay the interest and also the principal at maturity. Okay? And the types of bonds or mechanisms, the terms, the features of the bonds that a company can issue primarily depend on their credit worth. That's why we have a rating agency. The rating agency will rate the company and bonds that they issue. Different characteristics of the bond that issued by the company, and it is also associated with the probability of default of that particular issuer. Okay. Debenture is a similar one, but um, reputation, okay, or credibility, okay, that managed them to secure the debenture from the financial institution. Sukuk is basically an Islamic okay. Many features and characteristics are similar, except that instead of paying is profit rate rather than the coupon rate. Okay. And it has become more popular. And Malaysia is an important market for sukuk. We also have share preferred stock, which is a hybrid, okay, a combination of equity and dividend fixed compared to dividends get in the equity, the normal shares. Okay? So for the ordinary shares, the dividends are fixed, and certain years companies may not pay dividend, but for preferred shares, it is obligated. Companies have to pay the stipulated preferred shares. Some of them are convertible. Okay, you can convert the preferred stocks into equity later. Now, normally, financial institutions will perform. This is a traditional, the 5 Cs. They will run this analysis whenever a company apply for a loan. Okay? The 5 Cs, the capacity to have other types of analysis that and the analysis in the applications for financing. Now let's look at all this interest subsidy, or can call it interest, because it reduces tax. Okay. Now, also in debt financing, okay, there is this thing called covenant, okay, which protect the creditors in this sense. Okay. So these are among the they put these restrictions in order to ensure that the borrower will have the capacity to pay the interest and the principal. These are among the examples in terms of maintaining records, using statements and limiting them to take on additional or more in terms of paying dividends as well, selling fixed assets, etc. So these are some of the examples. Okay, the spotlight basically shows an example of how a covenant restrict the CEO of this company, which is Sapura Energy, right, from doing actions that involve their equity, and also selling of shares as other assets, right? Okay, alternative financing, we have options to go into the financial markets are not there. This is particularly for startup, small companies, but have the potential. However, they are still subjected to regulations, either under the Companies Act or Securities Commission. For equity financing, it comes with ownership, right? And you have voting rights, you can vote, right? And you can also get the dividends. Okay, dividends. So there are two types of for ordinary shareholder. One is through dividend income, the other one is through capital gain. That's quite attractive, right? And convertible preferred stock, it can be converted later, okay? Or it can be classified as an equity, but it starts off with a high. So normally those who do not have the opportunity to buy the ordinary share will go and buy the preferred share first, and later they will expect the shares to be to equity or ordinary shares later. The venture capital is another form of growth potential. Normally, venture capitalists come in for a few years, right? Before the companies either go to IPO, okay. Mezzanine financing is another unique. It's a hybrid also, debt and equity. Mainly in the event that the company has uh, uh, the requirement or the fulfillment for its debt financing is they have out. They have reached the maximum in terms of the debt financing from certain financial institutions. So to cover the gap, the few millions that they need, they will do national financing, national debt, which is actually a hybrid. So in that, the perspective would be from the banks or financial institution standpoint, they will regard that as equity rather than as debt. So they will allow the financing and the company will get their total uh, financing out, right? Uh, rather than in regular business activities. To, to pay fixed dividends, unlike the interest for the debt, right? There are no fixed charges. In terms of if it is you sell the share or if the shares are diluted, for example, it comes with losing the control. Okay? And sometimes um, the owners or the shareholders can lose control even without much of um, their, their power. Okay? So sometimes it is in the forces of in the market, okay? The forces in the stock market, or to maybe a hostile takeover by another party outside, from the regulations that guideline or to govern um, uh, this issue. But of course, in the event for the uh, founding, the founder itself, who is supposed to be the major shareholder, so actions taken by other companies. Okay? Right. One example of alternative equity financing that is covered in the module through the crowdfunding, and it has become popular as well, although the amount is not that huge. I think it's about smaller companies, okay, and with again growth potential, and we will see this to gaining its popularity, particularly, and most of these startup businesses are owned by people. Okay? We say that about half of the participants are below the age of 35. These are the gist of this topic. We will explore further, particularly on the cost of capital later in other topic in the future. That's all. Thank you.